Millions of parents are quietly panicking right now, staring down a college tuition bill that could hit $200,000 or more over 4 years, and their entire plan is a savings account earning 3% interest. What if the real answer to your kid's college fund has been sitting in your neighborhood this whole time, disguised as a rental property with a for sale sign? Here's the thing most financial advisors won't tell you at the kitchen table. The traditional playbook of open a 529, contribute monthly, hope the market cooperates, was designed in an era when tuition grew at a manageable pace and housing was still affordable enough to ignore. Today, college costs have outpaced inflation for decades, and yet real estate, the oldest wealth-building tool in human history, is still sitting on the sideline of most people's college planning conversations. Think of it like this. A 529 plan is a piggy bank. But a rental property is a piggy bank that someone else fills up for you every single month. You buy the asset, a tenant covers the mortgage, and over the course of 10 to 15 years, you've potentially built enough equity to write a tuition check without blinking. Now let's talk about the catalyst, the reason this idea is having a moment right now, because it's not just clever math. Rents across the country have surged dramatically over the last several years, meaning the income potential on residential rentals has never been more compelling for long-term investors with a patient horizon. There was a period, honestly not long ago, when people thought remote work would crater urban rental demand and the whole model would collapse. But the market told a very different story. Vacancy rates stayed low, rents climbed, and landlords who held their nerve during the uncertainty came out the other side looking like geniuses, which, let's be honest, sometimes being a genius just means not panicking. The psychological challenge here is real though, because committing to a 15 or 18-year real estate strategy for a child who currently thinks money comes from your phone is genuinely difficult. Warren Buffett has a famous line that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, and that wisdom applies here with equal, if not greater, force. History backs this up with a confidence that should make you stand up straight, according to National Housing Data, US. Home values have appreciated at an average of roughly 4% annually over the long term, and in many metro markets, that number looks much more exciting. Every real estate cycle has had its terrifying chapter, 2008 being the obvious villain, but the investors who held quality properties through the chaos rebuilt their equity, and then some within a decade. Here's where the misconception train usually pulls into the station. People hear, become a landlord to pay for college, and immediately picture 3 a.m., plumbing calls, nightmare tenants, and their own sanity dissolving. But professional property management exists precisely for this reason, typically costing 8 to 12% of monthly rent, which in the context of a long-term wealth strategy is simply a cost of doing business, not a deal breaker. The practical blueprint here isn't complicated, even if it requires discipline. Buy a modest single-family rental or small multi-unit when your child is young, ideally when they're born or in early elementary school. Use the rental income to cover carrying costs, and let appreciation and equity build quietly in the background. By the time your kid is filling out college applications, you're not scrambling for loans. You're evaluating whether to sell, refinance, or even hand the asset directly to your graduate as a wealth-building inheritance. And this is the part that genuinely separates this strategy from every other college savings conversation. You are not just building a tuition fund. You are building a curriculum. A child who grows up watching their parent manage a rental property, review leases, track expenses, and make calculated financial decisions is receiving a masterclass in financial literacy that no university course can replicate. By the time they arrive on campus, they already understand depreciation, cash flow, leverage, and the relationship between risk and reward, concepts that most adults in their 30s are still fuzzy on. You're not just paying for their education, you're funding it with an education. The broader cycle at play here follows a pattern as old as civilization itself. Families who build hard assets across generations create durable wealth, while families who only save in paper vehicles often find those vehicles inflated or devalued at the worst possible moment. Community wisdom from experienced real estate investors consistently echoes the same refrain. Start earlier than you think you need to. Size your position conservatively and let time do the heavy lifting. The strategic discipline is the whole game here. Don't over-leverage, don't chase the hottest market, don't buy a property so complicated it requires your constant attention, and absolutely do not make emotional decisions based on short-term interest rate noise. The investors who lose in real estate almost always lose because of behavior, not because of the asset class itself. So here's the philosophical bow on the whole package. Wealth is not built in moments of inspiration. It's built in years of boring, consistent, disciplined execution. And real estate has a beautiful way of rewarding exactly that temperament. Whether the property doubles in value or simply breaks even on paper while a tenant pays down your mortgage for 15 years, either outcome likely still beats watching a savings account struggle to keep pace with tuition inflation. If this strategy resonates with you and you're ready to explore what's possible, we can help you get started, whether that's real estate investing, home contracting work, or finding the right lenders. So check out our links in the description below.